In Victorian melodrama, in popular Victorian melodrama, women were often waifs or damsels in distress. Sometimes they were tied to actual railway lines across the stage, waiting for the hero to come along and release them before the onrush of the train that sped across the stage in front of the audience's eyes. Sometimes they were impoverished orphans who, at the end, were reunited with a parent or parents who turned out to be very kind and very rich. Now, there's nothing wrong with a good story, but Synge's women, and like O'Casey's women afterwards, they take on where Ibsen began. And you have the like of Nora in Shalva Glen or Peggy in Playboy the Western World. They're unhappy with their lot, as is Mary Boyle in Juno, as is Juno herself, who works night and day to keep house and home together. And the women know that these women know there's something not right and that there's something better out there. They may not know exactly what it is, but they know that something has to be done about it. Whereas the men, they're happy to dawdle along, tell a few jokes, have a few laughs, have a few beers. So Nora comes in with Michael Dara, a tall, innocent young man behind her.
I wasn't long at all, stranger, for I met himself on the path.
You were middling long, lady of the house.
There was no sign from himself?
No sign at all, lady of the house.
Go over now and pull down the sheet and look at himself, Michael Dara, and you'll see it's the truth I'm telling you.
I will not, Nora. I do be afeard of the dead. I think
Go ahead.
Sorry, I think she's laying down a marker here to him, like, as much as to say she's upping the ante, she's upping the bid, like as if you're in a poker game. She's upping the stakes here, I think.
She has the strength now because he's dead. Yeah. She's the money, and she's got the cards are in her hand. She's got the. I think
so. Yeah, she's obviously, as Gareth said, whatever deal went on outside, I think she is kind of saying, "Look, okay, I've said we'll do X, Y, and Z, but now I'm telling you, like, I'm no pushover. I'm hard to please. So you're either up for it or you're not."
He doesn't like the way she's talking either. You know, that's the way men talk. It's not the way women talk.
Yeah. That's an interesting point, Carol. Yeah.
Why would I marry you, Mike Dara? You'll be getting old, and I'll be getting old, and in a little while, I'm telling you, you'll be sitting up in your bed the way himself was sitting, with the shake in your face and your teeth falling and the white hair sticking out like an old bush where the sheep do be lepping a gap.
All right. What do you think of that last bit that she said?
To me, again, it's that thing of him being the man and thinking, oh, you're available now, I'll take you. You know, and she's kind of going, well, you won't fucking take me, you know. Like, I think she's going through so much. Like, obviously, she's probably thinking, if I make this decision like I made the first time, you know, there's obviously that going on, but I think as well she's saying you won't, you know. Like,
I think she's been very coy with the whole thing. Why would I marry you, Mike Dara? You know what I mean? She's kind of half kind of joking maybe. And you'll be getting old and I'll be getting old, and in a little while, I'm telling you, you know. I think it's kind of,
don't take it for granted.
A little bit lighthearted maybe, that she'd come back with that to lighten it up a little bit, you know. I think, you know, she's kind of, I think she's just toying with him a little bit there. Just a bit.
Yeah, she's teasing him, isn't she?
Yeah, you could be right, Kieran, because she's pouring him a whiskey at the same time.
Exactly.
Pouring out.
Yeah. So Dan Burke sits up noiselessly from under the sheet with his hand to his face.
It's a pitiful thing to be getting old, but it's a queer thing, surely. It's a queer thing to see an old man sitting up there in his bed with no teeth in him and a rough word in his mouth, and his chin the way it would be take the bark from the edge of an oak board you'd have building a door. God forgive me, Michael Dara. We'll all be getting old, but it's a queer thing, surely.
It's too lonesome you are from living a long time with an old man, Nora. And you're talking again like a herd that would be coming down from the thick mist.
He puts his arm around her.
But it's a fine life you'll have now with a young man. A fine life, surely.
Dan sneezes violently. Michael tries to get to the door, but before he can do, Dan jumps out of the bed, queer white clothes, a stick in his hand, goes over and puts his back against it. Son of God, deliver us.
Son of God, deliver us.
She has had these intimations of mortality. We're only here for a while. And what's it going to be like? And everyone's going to die. And I don't know why that happens. And he says, you're too lonesome. That's why you're having these thoughts. You'll be fine now. Come here. Come here. And he puts his arm around her. And Dan sneezes violently. Now, when Yeats met Synge in Paris in 1896 and he advised him to go to the Aran Islands to find his true writing self, it wasn't the first time that artists left the capital to further their art. Escaping from the confines of the city and the norms of the art world, Gauguin went as far as Tahiti. And Van Gogh and others sought out a simpler life in the countryside. And Van Gogh went to Arles, as he said, to render life as it is. In music, Brahms went and did the Hungarian waltzes. I think we were talking about this before. But if you do this with older forms of traditional music, like Stravinsky did with Russian dances and Janáček did with Czech and Slovakian dances and tunes, and you put them into your... It's not enough to put your ear to the floorboards in Wicklow and hear the dialogue of the servant girls and reproduce it accurately. It's not enough to go to the Aran Islands and use the Gaelic idiom and put it in and all of those cadences and strange ways to the English ear of speech. It's not enough to get stories that you might use from the likes of Wicklow and the Aran Islands. The artist has to do more than just repeat good dialogue or just stories. That is why in these little sections that we've done, we've just analysing what's going on. And an actor will always ask, or sometimes will ask, what does the character want in this scene? What does the character want? What does the character need? And like in the overall, but in each particular scene. And then you probably want to break it down and say, well, what do you want with this one word, this one line? You know, what do you want with this pause? What does it achieve? How does it feed into what things want? Anyway, listen, thanks for all your reading. Great stuff. See you on Thursday.